Okay, everybody, here we go. We're gonna pull up some 4x4 Hummer for episode 2 of a Steam stream. Um, I have I've loaded up this game. I've played through a couple of races really quick. It's a pretty standard 4x4 game with just a couple of extra features thrown in. Um, we'll take a quick look at the graphics settings. If we go over to options, so I have everything cranked up as high as it'll go. As you can see, for resolution, we're only getting 1280 by 1024. We're playing full screen, but 8 times anti-aliasing. Everything else is on maximum quality, and then I did go through and just make sure that like reflection maps was set to only your car, things like that. So I cranked those up. My 7870 LE doesn't seem to be having an issue with it. It's only using 290 megs of memory. Even when we actually load into the game, you'll see it's not going to be much different. So let's jump right into it. Think that's okay. So what we're going to do for this one is probably just 1 or 2 single races. Because I don't feel like doing a championship. One thing I should point out, actually, there is a garage. So you're able to pick your car, first off. It starts you out with, I believe, $3,000. So you're able to... Well, no, it must be more than that. It must be... I think it starts you out with 30,000. So then I bought this truck in black. And then the money that's left over after you buy a car, and there's a bonus point system we'll get to in a second. But once you buy your car, you can come into tuning and actually buy different parts for it. So that's nice. Again, it's a pretty standard feature these days. They definitely had it way back in the first game I think I remember was like Mini Car Racing. That had that way back in the early 90s. But also like Gran Turismo 2, probably even Gran Turismo, but I don't even know if I ever played that back on the PlayStation 1. So the bonus point system, as you're racing, if you do certain feats like drift or drive at a high speed, you rack up bonus points. So this is saying like I can't buy the next part here, even if I have enough money to buy it. It's 1,300, which I don't. But even if I did, I would still need 3,000 bonus points to make it available. I don't think it actually like takes those away as like another source of income, but you do require those to actually purchase it. So it's pretty much anything over the first upgrade requires some number of bonus points. So I do have my truck tricked out a little bit. I spent about $10,000 to get that up, so it's going to be pretty fast, at least for these quick races. Let's see, sprint is the race type, which I think just means go as fast as you can. Track, force, marathon. In the 2D picture, it just uses a stock image. You can click 3D, and it'll actually load in your truck in the color that it is with all the parts that you have on it. But it takes a long time for this to load in. I'm not sure why exactly, but it'll actually load the model. So you can see anti-aliasing is on and everything. It looks pretty smooth. So let's go. Let's click start. So there are some load times in this game. It shouldn't be too bad, but there's a couple of interesting things involved in actually driving in this game. It lets you switch gears. Obviously, you can shift like a manual transmission, but it also lets you shift from 4-gear high to 4-gear low if you get stuck in anything, which is a nice touch because most trucks like this would allow you to do that. As well as it gives you a winch if you happen to get stuck. So you may see me using that, especially if I keep driving like this. Now, it's kind of like driving through an obstacle course. It's not just a straight driving game. You can see there's like a bridge here, but there's also some things designed to slow you down. Oh. Got hung up on that tree, I guess. I was clipping on that. You can turn your lights on. I don't know if there's actual races at night, but there are some darker parts of the track. You'll probably see some coming up. Use the brakes a little bit so I don't go off the road. And you can see I've racked up a few bonus points here for passing checkpoints, or this I think is for speed. When those stars pop up, that's when you're getting bonus points. So you do rack them up in these quick races, but you can't actually use them. So like here's an obstacle, so I'm going to switch into 4 low. And as you can see, the upgrades I made to my truck are pretty nice. I'm just overtaking this guy without any real issue, except until I was grinding on his truck. That kind of sucked. Okay, so now that we're out of that obstacle, I'll switch on to 4-wheel high again. Short little puddle right there, but that's okay. So this is going to be another obstacle. Like I said, I have played through a couple of races on here, and I have actually played on this track, so racing games in general aren't really my forte, and 4x4 games are even less so. This game does seem to be fairly easy for quick races, at least, because it does give you that money up front that you can use to upgrade your truck. That was a little river I drove through. I have gotten stuck in that river before and had to actually use the winch. The winch is a pretty cool system, actually. You just hit shift and it gives you a cursor where you can click on like a tree that's close to you, and then it'll help pull you out. That's a pretty interesting little feature. Not something I would have expected, because other than that, this is a pretty, I don't know, uneventful, unimaginative game. It's not really super imaginative. I know that they really do have those in these games, but it's not really that handy, because when you're playing, it's not like your opponents are going off the track as well. You can see I did get first place there, so that's pretty sweet. We're just gonna hear some awesome victory music. Do 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 do. So let's just let's restart that same race, and I will purposely go off the track and get stuck, and I'll show you that winch mechanism. Because like I said, that's probably my favorite part of this whole game. But it's not that useful because your opponents don't tend to get stuck like you do. Which means even though it's fun to use the winch, if you're using the winch, you probably should just restart the race. You're going to be so far behind at that point that you're not going to win, so why not just restart? So when we get to that river, I'll show you how to get good and stuck, and then we will use the winch. Do this. I think I have a fairly good lead right now. You do have that little GPS thing there that shows you and your opponents. Obviously you're the green triangle. The checkpoints show up as green, yellow, or red dots based on which one you need to go to. And we're going to shift here into 4 low. And then your opponents are shown as red triangles, so you can see that the closest one's pretty far behind right now. I did notice a couple of things. You don't really need to use the shifting feature at all. It kind of helps with the simulation feel, but you can get through all these obstacles in 4 high, so it's really unnecessary, much like the winch actually. It's kind of a cool feature for simulation, but if you don't need it, then you can safely ignore it. So I really wish that they highlighted those features a little bit more. Another kind of buggy thing I noticed was my speedometer isn't working. I feel like it was the first time I played this, so it's possible that that's just maybe the video capture software that I'm using is somehow clashing with it. I don't know how that would happen, but not unheard of. So, okay, so let's get stuck in the river. Let's go off the track a little bit. Okay, so I'm in 4 low right now. Trying to get it. You can get really stuck in this thing. It does give you a reset function, which again kind of negates the whole purpose of the winch, but I used to get hung up on these really easily. But anyways, let's just say we were stuck. So at this point you can actually press shift. Like I said, it gives you the little cursor. And you do have a rope length, like a limit on how far it'll go. But once you click, it's going to start towing you out, and you can actually assist the winch. And then to drop it, you just do shift, and then you are free to go. Oh, I missed the checkpoint. Back up and hit that. Oh, a little bit more. There we go. Let's just sprint for the finish. Still in 2nd place. There's another person pretty close behind us, so let's see what we can do. Oh, come on. Oh yeah, and you can see the person that was behind me, they're way behind me again, so I think it gives you a little bit too much money in the beginning, at least for these quick races. You may need that money for the championship or whatever that mode is called, the career. But for quick race, I think you're a little overpowered. So again, awesome music. Do 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 do. Now, unfortunately, in Quick Race, you don't actually keep any of your money or bonus points, which is why I don't have any to improve my truck anymore. But that's the overall gist of it. It looks like you can probably unlock some different car manufacturers. It does have licensing to use actual vehicles. These are all General Motors. So that'd be pretty cool. Military style Hummer. But that's the game. 4x4 Hummer. So if this looks interesting, I'm sure it's probably pretty cheap on Steam at this point. So go pick it up. Peace.